All right, we should be back after a bit with no streams. Things got a little busy as they generally do around the holidays. We're back today with some BX Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to do a little bit of domain founding today with our newly converted cleric, Schtolteheim. This will be interesting considering he now has accepted a goddess of chaos as his goddess of choice and is the administrator of our
She is
realm.
the big
We'll see
Scottish.
how this goes.
She's a bit Scottish, so
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
So I awarded some experience at the end of today, but for the end of the last session, and accumulated for a bit. So some levels might have changed, many may have not. Richard, who you got?
Hi there, I am Richard, and I am playing Skrimbleshanks, who is now level 6. 6! The dizzying heights that it is. Oh, and also a halfling.
Who is not of dizzying heights, but yes, indeed. That is halfling, not thief. We have to stop asking you to pick locks and steal things.
I mean, you can keep asking, I'll keep saying no.
Jameis, who you got?
Hey, I'm playing Galen Rayhorn, the OG priest. He's level 8, and after that XP, he went up to level 8. But he's now broken
there for a
the
while.
100,000. Now broken the 100,000 barrier on the countdown to level 9.
Yep. What is name level for you? It's 8th, isn't it?
No, not as an elf. I think elf is like 9 or 10. I think elf was 9.
Okay. Dion.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dion, and I'm still playing Schtolteheim Reinbach the 7th, who is now a level 3 cleric due to the EXP, due to the good graces of our GM. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
That means you get an extra spell over the cause fear.
I took inflict.
You don't have to, which is a nice thing about clerics.
Oh, and just
Yeah,
I
you
just
can
wrote
cast
down
anything
inflict.
you can cast anything that's of a level that you can cast.
Yeah, you have to set it each day, but it's not like a spell book where you only have access to what's listed. You have full access to everything, but you do have to pray for the spell.
Yeah. We were
So,
doing it that way. We were doing it, just had to ask at the time.
Is this spontaneous?
That's what I mean. I mean, you just say, "Hey, can I cast this?" Sure, cast this.
Okay, so I'm a spontaneous caster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can only cast the levels that you have access to.
And the number of times that you can cast.
Yeah, and the number of times.
Right. Okay.
Bill, who you got?
I'm Bill. I am playing Radnor the Large. He is a 9th level wizard. And due to the experience points, I only need 94,284 XP to level 10.
You just need to grind a dragon on your own.
So,
well, maybe a flight of dragons.
Lose before I run out of levels to gain.
Yeah.
Cap out.
Where is that?
Get to the next level.
I figure if I can kill Zeus and Cthulhu tonight, I'm good.
Fortunately, in this village, there are chickens called Zeus and Cthulhu.
Bit goes, actually,
they make for mighty good eating. All right, so we are going to take up, with a little bit of time passing, you are well into sorting out your domain. So that's what we're going to kind of work on tonight here. So I've already done the random rolls to figure out your population density and how much you could potentially make off of each hex. You've got 13 8-mile hexes in your territory. I got them numbered there on the screen. Number 13 is actually where we'll call it your capital. But again, it's just a bunch of huts and a couple of stone buildings. It's not much of anything. And is everybody, you don't have to get there, but if you want to look on the Google sheet, I don't know if everybody got access. I know that Richard did.
Oh, that's what that was about. No, I didn't move and look.
Yeah.
I just want to say your first big assumption there is that we're going to be using capitalism.
Well, that's up to you. Actually, there's certain things that you do have to do because you still have fealty to Duke
Yeah.
Stefan.
Big
So,
X's.
regardless of what else you do in your domain, there are certain things you must do. As part of your charter, though, you have 2 years where you don't have to worry about the Duke's taxes. It's assuming that you are taming his wilds during this time, which is one of the reasons that you are granted the area that you have. The area that you have, since you do have settled areas around you, it's not wilderland, it's borderland. Okay, so you still have monster incursions, you still have threats coming off of the mountains and hills, but it's not completely untamed. So when we're looking at what you might find in each of the hexes, it's considered to be borderland. You have a couple of powers around you. Again, they all swear fealty to the Duke as well, so there's things you do have in common. So we'll get to that in the politicking section. But so what I've broken down is how many families are in each hex, and the general worth of what can be produced in that hex per family that's in there. Okay, so higher numbers generally mean things of more worth, like there might be mines there that can be exploited. Lower numbers are generally just crops, and the mid numbers you can kind of tell me what they are as you go. I'm just kind of giving you a general. The mid numbers could be grazing land, so you have herds. Typically are worth more than the gardens are. But again, up to you. And this is not how much money you're going to make. It's the potential. Because you also have to decide how much you're going to exploit your families that are working there, or are you not? You do have to pay the Duke's taxes, just not for the first couple of years. But you have expenses, and they are big expenses. You now have to protect these populations that you have. You don't have a city, let alone much of a hub for any kind of trade. Again, a couple of huts, a couple of stone buildings, and that's it. No fortifications, none of that. And that's kind of what you're walking into with this. Now, you got a couple of things going for you. Politically, you're doing pretty well. The largest, most powerful city near you, Penhaligon, you're on very good terms with. You've just done a very large favor for the current monarch there by getting rid of a black dragon so that she has a little bit more leeway in expanding her territory out into those marshes and getting some resources. Logging is the big resource in this area. Mining is secondary. Okay. You have made contacts with Highforge, but it's like neutral. You're not loved or hated. They don't owe you favors. You don't owe them favors. But you are employing a bunch of their artisans right now, which come at a steep price. Now, you guys have a lot of money, but you don't have building a castle and keep and walls and towers kind of money. So you've got to figure that. How much building you want to do, that sort of thing. The other places near you, Threshold is a very small town, exists off logging. It's a bit better than yours, and they do have some minor fortifications. They have wooden palisades, wooden walls, and there's a fair amount of trading that goes through Threshold, but it's still fairly small, and they are just 1 8-mile hex. You guys have a lot more territory, but that also means you've got a lot of people to protect too. And the barony of Kelvin, you haven't really interacted much with yet, and same with Riflin. You guys have gone through Riflin before, but not as potential rulers. All right. The other thing you have is if you want to do any kind of trade across the mountains, typically people don't because the mountains are very treacherous. But if you wanted to, just across that nasty little hex you've got up there at the very tippy top of your map, I can get over to the page. Where's my here? Yeah, just across that border is some great trade from places that you recently have left. The Derekine.
Oh God.
But yeah, that's some very treacherous mountains if you wanted to try and blaze a path. Most people just use Duke Stefan's road and pass that goes through the mountains, as there's a keep there guarding the pass to some extent. Yep, exactly.
But it's only
So let's
one
start
hex a
off.
mountain, though. Is what you're saying?
You've got one hex of really high mountains, and then it gets into lowlands after that. So like that hex right near you is almost a sheer right up to the spine, and then it's lower hills down past it.
So if we, oh my god, if we just like level that, we could.
Or through.
We have immediate access to Derekeen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have the ability to like blast a tunnel or something?
Remember, that's an 8-mile hex, though, so it's not like a simple thing to do. It is 8 miles.
Right.
And what if we?
Yeah, we can do it if we want to. We can do it. That's certainly
you
something
said
we can do.
a
But it's not
tunnel
like,
too, and you said it's
it's not like
steep...
one rock to mud spell is going to take care of it.
Yeah.
No, but I know it's 8 miles. I'm just thinking, like, that's still, even in the grand scheme of things, we could cut through that and have the shortest access to Derekeen
Hell yeah.
than anyone.
Yeah.
It would take a while. I don't know how much transmute rock to mud can do, but
and Fireball.
Well, we also have access to dwarves who are really good at digging and making sure that stuff doesn't collapse. So we could just
we got like stuff started.
Rather than people traveling through the treacherous mountains, go through the treacherous mountain.
Yeah, which
one-lane
might have
Tesla
problems
tunnel.
of its own. Because undoubtedly you've got some underground races there too. There's a reason why people use the pass that's guarded by fortresses along the way, but it is something you can look at. So you do have a fair amount of resources available here. Your population is it's very loose, unorganized. It's mostly, it is primarily Trolladaran families that just do have their own little plots of land. They graze cattle. They do fur trapping, that sort of thing. And they haven't had like a ruler in a while. So how you want to treat this is something else you're going to need to discuss. We're going to start our realm actions. This is in the fall. This is the beginning of fall. Nights are starting to get a little cooler. Your fall harvests are just starting to be planted now. You've got a few more months before winter, about 3 months before winter. But that's where we're starting these actions here. First of all, I'm using the Book of Regency from the Birthright 2nd edition D&D because it has a nice little stronghold and domain building thing in there. I'm also using some information from Adventurer Conqueror King, which is a BX-based game as well. It has some nifty stuff in there. But each season, you get a domain action, a build action, and then some random elements that happen. You can just hire someone to do things for you. The problem with that is your characters don't get the experience for it. It's only if your hands are in it and you have some skin in the game that you get the experience for what happens. Okay. So first of all, Schtolteheim, technically your domain, it's held by the Green Company, but somebody had to have the status. So you were the person with status. Technically, your realm with the backing of the Green Company.
Yep.
Yep. Unfortunately, the person in charge of the coffers of the Green Company are basically saying, "Yeah, we're not giving you money until you can show us that you can make a profit."
Yeah, we have 2 years before we have to pay taxes. So.
Yeah.
Well, we're some of that already because we've been doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget that Galen has plans on setting up Greenskins as a living place for this.
Actually, I'm considering that a lot of this population that I rolled here is likely a lot of the Greenskins that did take you up on the offer. Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, as much as Galen is very pro-Greenskins, they also are an unruly, lecherous bunch who need to get their strong hand on.
Yes. So there's also a kind of a happiness scale for your population, and you are going to be starting on the negative side of that. The native Trollodarans don't necessarily have like ancient grievances against the greenskins. It's more of a wariness because they do have a track record of trading, but they're just as often likely to rob you as trade with you. So there's a lot of needing of acceptance going on right now. So your population is already starting on the negative side as far as their happiness goes.
How happy are if we were to split this into two groups, the Trollodarans and the Greenskins, how happy are the Greenskins?
They're also on the negative end because they don't necessarily like having to share space with humans nor follow human rules.
Okay.
So it's equivalent.
Well, they're not. They're following elf rules.
Even worse.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the next thing. You can rule your domain how you see fit, but there are certain things you must do because you owe fealty to Duke Stefan. One, your domain must follow Duke Stefan's laws. If you want to add more laws, that's up to you. But there's a certain basic law that you have to follow, which is the right of property, the right of nobility, those basic things.
Do we have to? Can we rebel? Can we go against the monarchy?
You can.
All right. I mean, I'm not. I've heard of many different types of ruling in my travels across lands, etc.
Mostly his laws are minimal, though. They're mostly there to ensure the ability for free trade between his provinces, and just to keep the peace. They're actually very light-handed because he was trying very hard not to trot on Trollodaran custom or the native customs. So now a lot of places have chosen to take more extreme laws. Like you've been to a couple of cities, for instance, where you can't openly brandish weapons, or you had to pay a tax for having those weapons. That's not Duke Stefan's law. Those are just extra laws that were put on to help keep the peace more.
And Calvin was anti-magic, as in don't be doing magic.
Yeah.
Not that Scribbleshanks has been to Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think right now, basically, they're probably already following Duke Stefan's laws, mostly. Hopefully.
They haven't really been ruled in a while, nor have they been taxed in a while.
All right.
But mostly, yes, because you can't really have trade without some minimal law. So they all accept the same coin, you know. They all expect they expect to be a certain amount of property right.
And although they haven't been taxed for a while, they also haven't actually been earning a lot of money. So it's not like they've got huge coffers of coin just sitting there to be taxed either.
Yeah. Most everybody in your population right now is at a subsistence level. They're basically just farming their own land with just enough to feed themselves and not really enough for trade.
Okay. If only I'd access to fifth level spells.
Yeah.
Create food.
Your main city area was a little bit profitable because they were doing logging. They kind of got into the connection with Benhallian and Threshold, using that waterway to add their logs in, and they get a certain percentage of everything that passes through there. So they were making some money from the logging rights, but not much because their population was fairly decimated before you came in.
Which hex has the hole?
Which hex has the what?
The pit or the hole or whatever it was.
Oh, 12, just below you.
Okay.
It's one of the smallest population centers, too, 90 families, thereabouts.
We could offer that up as a dumping ground for your city for all the surrounding trash. Just come and dump it in this hole and God knows where it goes.
Sorry, I must be forgetting something. What hole?
Mel's hole. It's the big bottomless pit that goes to who knows where.
Yeah.
You don't remember.
No?
You might have not have been here for that, actually.
Apparently not.
No,
It's an
they
actual
just
thing. So.
yeah, it's
right.
some of the populace just found this big crack in the ground, and they tied some rope and they sent people down, but they never reached the bottom of it. And so they just kind of used it to throw away trash. They just started throwing like, hey, the cow died, can't eat it, it's probably diseased. Just push it down Mel's hole.
All right. Okay. Yep. No way.
Yeah.
Don't
There'll
remember
be
that
some
being
shit
mentioned.
because of that someday. Literally.
It's been going on for
Oh,
generations upon generations, using it as a trash dump.
Still no sign of the bottom. So
No
yep,
sign of the
we can just
bottom.
import. We can just do the city. We do the refuse for the entire area.
Your lady's altar is in Hex 10, just across from you
Okay.
there, very close to the border.
That was the one where
Also,
the demon was trapped in the tree.
yep.
Right.
Low population, one of your lowest there, 80 families.
We can put there's an altar there, or is it a church?
No, it's just an old altar.
It was
We could build a
underground,
church
wasn't it?
Yeah.
around it. I mean, I follow your
Also,
lady
quite sort of
now
altar
too.
in the sense of, here's a flat bit of and we now use it as an altar because we're old aged
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, there was a much larger underground chamber, with just an altar above ground.
We could put a church there.
And up in Hex 8, kind of on the border of 8 and the hills, of course the hills aren't really claimed by anyone, is where Radnar, your potential wizard's keep or wizard's mansion is.
Yeah.
Kevorkian's mansion.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out while we're up here.
Yeah. Also a low population place. Who knows why? It's not like Kevorkian was taking population and turning them into monsters or anything. That didn't happen.
I'm very glad it didn't.
I don't know.
All right. So, starting fall, your domain action would be things like setting up some diplomacy or opening up a line of trade with another realm around you. It could be instituting, what would it be called? A census and starting taxation. Big something that would take a season long to start and get accomplished. So what would be the first thing that Schtolteheim would want to do? Now, building is a separate thing. All right.
I want to open trade as quickly as possible. I mean,
Okay.
I want to get revenue into this place. So if
Right,
it's
so-
like trade and stuff, yeah.
So remember,
That's
right
not familiar.
now, the only thing that you have to trade is timber.
Right.
You have
with
some
Penhalion.
mines, but you have no miners. And you're not making enough food production to sell it. So right now, all you have is timber. But
We
you
had
had talked about selling
the-
timber to Penhalion.
And we also talked with the dwarves of them looking into the mines and having people look at them, right?
Right.
I think the dwarves weren't that interested in being involved, though, other than just potentially as sort of contract.
Yeah.
Here's how to do things, but they
Pretty sure.
from memory, they weren't showing a lot of interest in actually doing any of the mining themselves.
Maybe we could hire them as teachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we
Well,
could
so
do
as
that,
a season action, what do you want to do? Open up your mines and train new miners? Or do you want to work on your forestry and selling timber to Penhalion, Threshold, High Forge, otherwise?
What do you guys think? The wood would be easiest, and we'd quickly be getting money that way, but I feel like the mine will be profitable in the long run. So the sooner we start the mine, the better. But we do have 2 years, so I would say for me, I think we should start the mine now, and then next season we can work on timber, maybe.
I do. I'm going for that. Yeah.
How much does it matter when it comes to the forestry stuff? What season it is?
Here you can do timber forestry nearly year round. Really, the only limitation is your people working. Like if the weather's too bad, they can't cut timber, but there's certain timber that grows all through the different seasons.
Because I was thinking, because it's fall, we do some initial trade and set up the logs and stuff during fall, and then during winter, when there's less opportunity to do that, that's when you do the mining, when people can be underground and out of the way of the weather.
Yeah, I'm down. I like that.
Well, I mean,
that makes sense.
That assumes that the weather doesn't affect mining either. But,
Well, less so.
groundwater, horrible cold air coming in from the outside, etc. I don't know.
And
So
we
right
can-
now, the only one of your hexes that's producing timber is the hex that your base is in. We'll call it your base for now, hex 13. There are 130 families there, and that's a mix of Trollodurans and Greenskins. The resource level of that area is 6. So 6 times that many a population is how much gold per month can be extracted from that hex. And that's if all of your population is doing just that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you've taken some time to kind of go over your domain, so you kind of know what's valuable. So the highest value point in your domain is hex 8. It has a value of 9. It's right where Kevorkian's lab is. It has a resource value of 9, but there are only 80 families in that 8-mile hex. So it's 9 times number of families is how much you can exploit from there. So that's a really high value at a 9. What is it? What's there that's of value? I'll let you guys answer that.
I mean, if that's where Kevorkian's lab was, then perhaps his wild magics that he's been doing there have produced some sort of magical reagents or something that are difficult to grow in other places.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Spell ingredients.
Nerd root.
Vegetarian.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good. But it's also it is your least populated area as well, with only 80 families there. So to get the most out of that, you would need to attract more families there to be able to make the most of it. So you've got this resource there. You've got all these strange herbs, very hard to find herbs that are growing in an area that's particularly suited to it. Maybe Kevorkian did something so that was a possibility. But you don't have that many workers there that could make the most of it. So that's your key place in your realm, is that's at a 9. You got a bunch of 7s. Hex 6, Hex 11, Hex 12 are all 7s, which are probably mines. They're probably mines there. You can say whatever you'd like, but 6 and 7 are mines. 7 might be gold or silver. A 6 might be like copper or tin or iron.
It's too bad
Your
we can't
least-
put like NASCAR races in them or something. That would like draw some population there.
Your least resource intense hex is 3, right up at the top of your map there. It's also got a small population of only 90 families. So that's probably farming.
Going by the thing, number 2 has 90 families and a resource of 3.
Yeah.
Not number 3.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. 3 is high. Well, it's 5, so that's probably it could be raising sheep there or something like that. 140 families. There are a lot of families in there. Maybe there's a pool. They do fishing up in the mountains. That's a possibility too. It's actually one of your more population dense places, right there, nestled between the mountain.
I mean, it borders our potential tunnel, so I don't know.
All right, so this season, mines, is that what I'm hearing? You want to get some laborers trained up, or do you want to go to start throwing money into your coffers and do the timber right away?
I think Galen made a good point with the timber, because in the fall we could do it before it gets too cold, and then it kind of is a little safer to be inside a mine when it's
Yep.
bad weather because you're inside. You're not
Yep.
getting
So you
stoked
can
on.
you can fully spend the money to start training the miners now, and then they not start until later in the seasons. You can
Okay.
do that as
Yeah.
well. So okay.
Yeah. Good.
So
But
year
anyway, we
one,
don't know fully what our actions, available actions are, but what the full scope of our actions are.
well, it's mostly just what we're talking about is domain action, which is something that is your domain wide. The central focus this time around, and you can split it between a few different things, but it's really like, are you increasing infrastructure, or are you trying to make money as soon as possible?
Oh,
Now you can do a mix
I
of
thought you
both.
said. Okay, I thought you said
Yeah.
building was different. So I
Building
wasn't
is
thinking
different.
infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, infrastructure would be figuring out like, okay, this is my population. How many of you are we putting to work right away so that we can make some money and start taxing them? Or how many of you are we putting to work and we're paying you to cut down these trees so that we can sell the trees and make a little bit of profit, that sort of thing.
I think we should do that too then, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, we have all those
So timber
greenskins that
and
need
train
something
miners.
to do right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do.
The
One
people that
sort
are
of-
already here with the farming are already established. They're not just like milling about. So I think a lot of the greenskins we could focus with the work, but we could also prompt through the Trollodarians and be like, hey, who needs work and wants money?
Yeah. This was obviously we got sort of the plans done for this season more or less, but I was sort of thinking we have got the conflict of the greenskins and the Trollodarians. What is the domain action of setting up not so much guards or shields or something, but sort of mediators, adjudicators to help them get along?
That could be, that's in the politics phase, and you can do internal politics.
All right. So, yeah,
building actions. What is the first things that you feel like you need to build? And again, right now you're not low on housing for your population because a lot of people got killed over the last seasons.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of free homes. That won't be true as the population starts to grow, though, and you don't have any defensive walls. You don't have any permanent dwellings for grain storage, for instance, for storage, food storage for winter. You have none of that.
Okay.
So what is the key thing you want to build this season? You've got dwarves here helping you that you're paying a premium for.
Whatever the dwarves do best, which was, I think we got them a defensive.
I was just going to say, I think maybe grain storage or some such. I mean, we can buy outside food to help alleviate this season and show, hey, we're rulers who care about our peoples. Because we have food for you.
Cool. Good
and I think that will satisfy some people.
Yeah, I like that.
Found out.
Because winter is really close, so it's like if we do that now and make sure we have enough food for winter, they all have a comfortable winter. They'll be like, oh.
So we're spending your build action on infrastructure then and not defense. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Okay.
When you put it like that.
Yeah. On the one
again,
hand,
I'm pointing out yet again that your population is limited because they've been killed by monsters coming in and just taking their stuff and killing people.
Right, but now the monsters live among them.
Different monsters.
Hell, they're not.
How much of that was because of the wannabe queen had that army up north?
She had drawn a lot of. Remember, most of your greenskins are goblins. Most of the orcs just said, like, I'm done with this, and went away. So, but she had attracted an enormous amount of goblins, who, granted, are the ones that are more likely to trade and barter than just take. So, you have a lot of goblins.
I think we have. Also, I'm hoping that we have successfully mitigated the problem of all the people of all the monsters coming and attacking. We've sort of hopefully mitigated that effect, but with disbanding the army, we've made it a different problem.
We shall see. That will come up on the random element phase.
Yeah. Can we? Oh well, this is probably a politics thing, but we should make Winky the representative of the greenskins.
Yeah.
Because he came with
Politics.
us and he's a goblin.
Yeah.
But
Um,
putting a pin there so I don't forget.
But no, Bird has sort of hinted you may want to build defences more than infrastructure.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
because
might
we
not
just buy
they might not attack
food.
this season. They
Yeah,
might be
well, like
summer
you said.
attackers for all we know. We don't know.
Yeah.
But Richard, you even said we can just buy food, so we don't even have to store it. We can just buy it from Penhallion and ship it across the river and feed people within, like, a couple days.
Whoever's assuming there was left
Hurting.
after all the attacks.
Right. So I think we should. I think you got a point. I think we should build walls. We should do some defenses. Have the
Change
dwarves
people's
do
minds.
some really good stonework. And
So I was going to say that
Alright.
it would take longer to do stone than wooden palisades, but you have dwarves, which is something you worked out. So that is not the case. It'll be just as quick to do stone. All right. So instead of infrastructure, we're going to do defense.
yeah.
Okay. So politics, you're going to do internal and kind of sort out the strife that's going on. So you've designated you designated someone to be the goblins' representatives. Are you going to do the same
Winky.
thing for the Trollodarans? Are you going to nominate a headman, someone,
The cleric.
or are you going to do it yourself? The cleric.
Well,
That's
the cleric.
bold move.
He's,
Yes,
people like him.
and he
And
is
I want
native.
someone with. Yeah, I want
Is
somebody
he
who will
willing to?
challenge
Is probably
us.
more better the question. Is he willing to be the head man?
I could ask him in person. and
That's
he
going to say,
would
who's going to ask him?
I will. I'll do it.
Okay.
I value his opinion.
All right.
I want somebody who's going to challenge our motives and challenge us and make sure that we're doing the right thing for our people. I want someone who's going to not say yes to us all the time. I want someone who's going to give us more of a viewpoint. So approaching him, I explain that and how I respect and want his opinion and his people's opinion to be known.
Okay. Make me a charisma check.
Okay.
And it definitely
This is
cannot
Remember,
be
you
us.
don't have your
not
magical
gonna be
stole anymore.
I don't. I'm not fashionable anymore. We gotta figure out my equipment. Ah, 10 out of 13.
Okay. He's willing to, but he tells you that when negotiating between the populace and you, he is going to have he wants to advocate for more of the population's side of things than to push any kind of law that you want, right? So like he's going to be the mediator, but he's telling you up front that he is more likely to side with the populace over
That's what I want.
they may want. Okay.
That's what I want. I want a voice of the people.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's willing to do it. That's fine. He does request, however, that the community is sorely lacking in spiritual development, and he would like you to have a church founded.
Does he follow the lady?
No.
No.
No, it's just some Trollodarian god. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I worked out who it was.
He was actually the Order of the Griffin. He had converted to the other side's god.
Oh.
But no, he doesn't specify. He just I would like a place of worship founded.
I
Doesn't
agree
specify.
wholeheartedly.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
Well, because
the gods are all around and everywhere and answer people's prayers. Why do you need a dedicated place of worship? Why is it not just wherever these people want to worship?
Oh, see, that's where you're going to have a religious debate, because in his religion, no, you can't just pray to your God on a piece of dirt. You must pray to him in a house that's dedicated to the worship of that God.
So you want to build something that is dedicated to the worship of your God. So you
No.
want us to endorse your religion.
He
You
does
just
not.
said-
No. So there's so Richard, in this area, that belief is also true of the Trollodarans as well. Like, you talk to your God in specific places. Like, there is an altar to this God here. You must go there to petition that God.
So
It is very common in this area. They are not a naturalistic faith.
what if we did
The elves are.
like a religious center where
Yes.
multiple gods, but they'll all have their own like personal area,
Yep.
but multiple gods of we could pull the people when we do our census and all that. Okay,
That's very common in frontier locations where you have a church house and then the ministers share time. It's very common, and that's all he's asking for is like make me a meeting house for anyone that would
100%.
choose to come and.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I'm down.
As Schtolteheim said before, we can use that area in number 10, so we pulled it up around there.
I mean,
yeah, I was already thinking that. Yeah, but
these are 8-mile hexes, right?
yeah,
8 miles.
So
yes, you have
you're
no roads.
suggesting one, yeah. So you're suggesting one for one place in one area, right? So
He's
people who are in
suggesting one
10,
here. Yeah, he's suggesting one here in what's going to be your capital.
right?
That's all.
And how about people
okay.
in 1 and 2 and 3? Do you not give a
That's
damn
not
about them?
pilgrimage.
Aren't you
Oh,
the
of course he
Pilgrimage
does.
for the soul.
Of course he does, but
All right.
you can only do so much at a time.
he wants one in the capital. That makes sense, though. In the grand
I mean, if he had his rathers, he'd like that nice walls that you're putting up to like completely encircle all 13. Well, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
So wait, is that is what the defenses are for protecting 13?
Yeah. It's just one. It's like one area, like one city or one town. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
Why are we
That's our
protecting
biggest
13?
spot. It's the
That's up to you. Yeah,
capital,
you can
it's the
move your
heavy.
capital, but it's just the
I'm
place
not
that is the
suggesting
closest
we
to the
move
river.
capital.
Yeah, you
Why
can.
Are we protecting 13? 13 already has natural barricades on 2 of the 6 sides that is there. The other ones, which are,
It's also been attacked. It's just been attacked a fair bit anyway, because that's where a lot of people
13
are. So
was capital because it's right on the waterway, and that's where all the timber
Yeah.
was happening, and it had the most workers. So, like the most people, the dense population was 12, 13, right in that area. But then they
Alright.
got whittled down by a bunch of attacks. But that's
right. So where
why.
are these attacks coming from? Because I imagined they were coming from
hills.
the mountains where things were living. But if you're just telling me they're coming from the countryside around us,
Yep.
that changes things.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, like there's this buffer that you have. Let me get to the main map. So like this buffer that you have right in here, this is all wildlands. All of this is wildlands. Through here as well, Threshold is also being attacked. High Forge, not so much. But Threshold, since it's right here in the mountains and the hills, they've been getting attacked a lot. You guys have been getting attacked a lot. It's all on this side of the river. So left side of the river. Right side of the river is more heavily protected because Penhalgian has heavy cavalry. But they only patrol like the Duke's Road and the hexes around them. And then same thing with the barony of Kelvin down through here. They have cavalry. Although the swamps is a whole different matter for them, which you have conveniently fixed for them.
we're helping.
Yeah.
I'm not saying who we're helping, but we're helping.
But that is a question. If you wanted to move your capital city, nothing's stopping you from doing so.
I wasn't suggesting moving the city. I was just taken aback that we were only protecting this one hex.
Yeah, you don't have the money to put walls up across your entire
Right.
domain.
I realize that, but I mean, that just seems counterproductive. We protect this place, and then, I mean, I'm not going to say everybody else will resent us, but
So
I mean,
do we
why don't we
wanna-
hire adventurers to go and just go out there and kill all the monsters rather than
Yeah. I was
building a wall?
thinking of yeah.
They
So
may
then-
be our
That is something you
population
can
now.
do. You can
Oh, is
spend
it?
some money hiring a bunch of mercenaries. Certainly can do that.
Instead of the infrastructure. Do we want to do that? Do we want to just
I
hire
mean,
some
because then it
mercs to
protects.
go
If they go out and kill off the monsters that are in this hex here, then that'll protect 11 and 13. I mean, that is. I don't know that that's a better spend, but. Yeah.
Well, wasn't
We
that
could-
Bert was saying they were quite well protected anyway because of Ben Helgen on that side?
Yeah, but Haugen's on the side of the river, but on our side of the river is where we're getting attacked often.
Yeah.
But
we're
it's
on
like
the wrong
all
side of the
over.
river.
If we had like mercenaries that would take the season to like patrol the area, our entire domain, and like clean up, and we allow them to just take whatever they want from the enemies that they kill, the things that they kill. Like, you guys keep whatever you
Yeah.
want. Here's a base pay, and like you find the treasure trove or something. Fine, like whatever. Like that would enough
Okay.
hungry people. To jump
If you want to
at
spend the
that.
treasury for this season, hiring mercenaries to do that, perfectly viable. Do you want to
Is that-
build any smaller buildings then instead of building a wall?
Do we want to? What do you think, Richard, Bill, Jameis?
Well, I realised that we're on the wrong side of the river, and they have all the horses on the other side. But that's that's a quote from from a movie, so we'll ignore that. I mean, I vaguely suggested that plan, so I'm down with it.
Alright.
So yeah, hire Bill. What?
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing.
Jameis.
Yeah, this is when, so do we want to build smaller buildings then for something, or
Like greeneries and stuff, and then also
Okay.
hire mercs. Is
for the
that
dwarves?
what
We
we
might
need?
as well use them. I just don't want having dwarves here go to waste because we've got them here already.
Yeah.
Dwarves go
So
off if
right
you don't use
now, you have an abundance of small buildings, like wooden structures, some stone structures, because your population's way reduced. So right now, general buildings, are plenty of them. Again, your ex cleric turned headman had requested a spiritual center being built. You could start that, but he didn't require it to be started right away. You also don't have you don't have a place to quote hold court. You don't have a longhouse. You don't have a meeting center. You don't have any of that. You just have this hut on stilts that you've been staying in.
So maybe we should make like a court, like you stated, and like a granary for food storage, and could we even squeeze in like a trading center, like a trading post, so we can get it built and start trading in a mass area?
and
So
some
you're
place
paying for the dwarves per season. So the most,
Mm-hmm.
get the most value you can out of them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah, along those lines, somewhere just if we want to sort of build up our furs and stuff, we need somewhere to store all that.
Yep.
As well, and also any leftover trees we have lying around.
All right. So I think it's with the help that you're getting, I think it's perfectly viable that you can have the granaries built. And did you want to have I'm not sure what you would call it, a trade center is what the word you use. Do you want to make a trade center? You don't have a lot to trade right now other than some farm goods and timber, but you
Can
will.
it be just at the moment a general admin area, a general admin building that we currently use for multiple reasons? We can build up a specific later on, but for the moment we just have a general general admin building that we can then multi-purpose admin building.
I mean, for 75K, you can have a keep built.
How much money we got?
No idea.
Richard is thinking intently. What's your idea?
No, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna work out
Tell
for
me.
what we've got here. No,
Tell me.
no, I refuse.
How much money do we
shuts up
have?
for once in his life.
How much money do we have?
I don't actually know exactly how much you have, but I kind of have it broken out that your expenditures are about 500,000 a season.
500,000 a season.
Yeah,
It costs to run.
That's
So
like-
we can take a keep.
that's because you've got the timber proceeds coming in. You've got some. You've already got some of your people? Actually, that's a really good question. Are you taxing your people at all this year?
No,
No.
I don't think we should.
No.
You have 100,000. You have 100,000
Okay.
each season.
I mean,
Okay.
even that is
A lot.
huge.
Yep.
I'm surprised dragons don't, just run places for 100,000.
Mhm.
I mean, it's largely
Running
what
a
Shadowrun
kingdom
does,
is expensive. It is expensive.
Right,
But
so
so let's say
that's
you have
our
100,000.
Is that our income rather than our outgoings,
Yeah, that's your income.
or is that including our
100,000.
outgoings?
No, that's your income. 100,000.
Right. Okay.
And like I said, like if you want a keep built, that could be your center. That 75,000 to have a keep built by the dwarves.
That works for me. What do you guys think?
Well, it depends how much are the mercenaries and that going to cost. How much is the other stuff we're doing going to cost? Because the mercenaries aren't going to be working for free.
How many companies do you want to hire? Well, here, let's just do it this way.
Can we hire people
What's the going
Hopefully
rate
tell
for
you how much it
company?
will cost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
you could just hire out the green company if you want.
and at a discounted rate?
I
Yeah,
don't know
they
if
give you the
Magpie
friends
give us a
rate.
Yeah.
Have you met Magpie? No, you haven't met Magpie. No.
And while we're at it, while we're contacting them about that, can we have them set up in our keep, like a base for the green company? Like, if we're gonna, a keep can hold a lot, so I'm assuming we can
Actually-
have like an office for them and.
Actually, if you allow your mercenaries to keep plunder, Magpie will send you their green recruits for free. It'll be a training
That's what we
mission.
were gonna do anyways. Yeah.
It'll be a training mission, and if they find anything interesting, they get to keep it.
Cool.
So the
Wow.
mercenaries won't cost you anything for at least this season.
And we'll get the XP when we go and save them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
there is that.
If we contact Magpie for that, definitely I just want to throw out there like, hey, can we get an outpost for the green company set up here? Because it's a lot of land.
If you build her an outpost, sure.
That can be in our keep, right? That can be in our keep.
Yeah, it can be. Yep.
Yeah. It's basically where we're gonna stay anyways, so.
So you've got an administration building or a keep built this season, and all your politics are going to be internal, just kind of trying to work out the differences between your goblins and your Trollodarans for the most part. And
Yeah.
from what I'm understanding, Schtolteheim has hired someone to do that. So none of you are taking an active hand in that?
I think it's better if, given that we are going to be absent a lot often, I think it's better if we can get them built up on their own, because we're going to be absentee landlords a lot. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if there's a thing where we can sort of be there to help get it up and running, but otherwise we need to get it set up there independent of us, because we're not going to be around a lot to solve everything.
Okay.
We were going to wander off to dragons and take up and shit and stuff, and who knows
Well,
what.
what if I stay behind? And stay at
In
the
general, I'm
keep?
sort of thinking in the future when we go out on missions and stuff, and like all our characters are off doing things. And
But in character, what if Schtolteheim stays here?
why would
Is
you
what I'm
say you
getting
want to go
at.
off and have adventures?
Because he
And the
wants
goddess
to
is
make
going to,
sure that his stuff
yeah,
is
the
taken
goddess
care
is
of.
probably going to call on you to go and do things. She does
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
No, you're going to be
Building
one of
it.
those managers. You're going to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The goddess
I
is
said I
only
wanted the
hates the
porcelain
way-
toilets.
It's a thought.
I was going to
'Cause
say,
I
so
don't know.
what you, the cleric of chaos, want to do is stay here and make sure that order happens. Okay. I
Yeah.
understand. Yes.
Order. Sure.
Order
Is
out
that
of
what the
chaos.
kids are calling it these days?
Radnar, are you going to start your Wizard's Keep in Kevorkians? Is that the plan that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little intrigued by the tunneling through the mountain thing, but it looks like that's on hold for a little bit. So yeah, when I'm able to, I would like to start checking out the Wizard's Keep.
I think the tunnel would be a good investment phase, and an infrastructure phase, because you have to also build up the tunnel and make it secure and stuff as well.
Gotcha.
As just,
Well, and I
building up a coverage channel through the mountain.
maybe in the meantime I could make a shitload of scrolls of transmute rock to mud, and we could just do it all in like one day.
That's a lot of scrolls.
Honestly, how much money? Well, I did the math. It takes 14 casts to do 8
Well, that's
miles.
just to punch a simple hole through. You also need one big enough to get a whole trade
Well, it's-
caravan.
No,
That's why we have the
3,000
dwarves
square
to kind of.
So square feet is 3,000, like, each way, right? Or whatever.
And it's 100
Yeah, in
gold
every
a
direction.
scroll.
So it'd be so if you do like
I mean, that's a
28
3,000.
casts.
That's a 3,000 foot tall or thing, right? Because it's 3,000 in all directions.
Yep.
It's 3,000 cubed, basically, is what it would
3,000 cubed.
affect. And
But
14
doesn't
casts
say this is-
would do 8 miles all the way across.
And
straight,
I figured we
but
could,
then also
we
that
could hire
way
some
out.
dwarves to we could hire some dwarves to clear out the mud and expand things and make it all like neat.
Well, the first thing the
Because there are
dwarves will probably
underground
tell
races.
you is transmuting the base of a mountain from rock to mud isn't going to create a hole for you. It's going to create a collapse of a mountain.
Well, that's why you do one at a time, and then you have them
Yeah.
support it.
That's why we have the dwarves along to make sure that shit doesn't happen. You know?
Yeah. If you want to get together a mining team and work on that, you can. I think that is like a whole season's project, though. That's
Yeah. No, I'm interested in checking out the Wizard's Tower a lot right here first, if I've got the time to do that.
okay. Richard, roll me a D100.
Oh, am I calling a number?
Nope. Just roll
Alright.
a D100. Tell me what your total is.
29.
Okay. Well,
That's
typically,
not a good sound.
fall lasts a good 3 months, and then you've got a gentle decline of the weather as we go into winter. However, this season, winters come early. Thankfully, your population is reduced enough that they're not going to starve. But it basically halts production. Now, your dwarves will have built your keep. That's not a problem because they can work through the winter. They don't have a problem with that at all. Your granaries will not be fit. Well, no, they're building that too. No, you have an early winter. You don't have a lot of food stored up because your granaries are currently being built, but population is native. They're used to the occasional early winter, and so they've done what they can. So your population will not starve. But it will add a little bit of discontent that there are no current food stores.
Can we buy food from Penhalgan?
You can.
We have 25k left over still for the season. I mean,
Okay.
we can ferry.
Do you
it
want
across
somebody
the
else to
river.
negotiate that, or do you want to negotiate that yourself?
We're the ones that dealt with Penhalgan, right? So, I mean, would we want to just?
All right,
do that?
Schtolteheim, you will present yourself and hat in hand and say, hey, we're caught this early winter and we'd like to buy some product. Make me a charisma check.
Okay.
Does he get a bonus because he's the pretty one?
No.
Not anymore.
Damn it.
Oh, 10 out of 13 again.
Not a bad. Yes, they're willing to sell you some of their stores. If you want to spend all 25k, that means your population will get by fine. You won't go into any kind of you won't go any further on the negative how your population is doing. Actually, if you spend 25k, that'll increase their happiness a bit. They'll be able to weather the winter just fine without having to worry about not getting in a good harvest.
Is there anything
problem
the
comes.
rest, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so this is what I was going to say next. Problem comes is that a lot of the goblins that are here really don't know how to handle winter very well.
Mm.
They were kind of forced here from over the mountains, and typically in the winter they would lie in caverns. They would go underground. But now they're farmers. They have houses. They're not quite sure what to do with themselves.
Okay. So,
All right. Do you want Winky to handle the problem, or does somebody want to take an active hand in it?
I'll take an active hand because that's a sort of. Actually, I'm not a farmer. What am I saying? None of us are farmers.
We could start like a Blood Bowl team or something.
I'll take as much of an active hand as I can, but you don't want me making the charisma roll. If it's a wisdom roll, I'm good. If it's a
Not me making
Well,
a
Winky,
charisma roll,
Winky
then, right?
tells you that, well, traditionally, if we're caught out in the lands like this and we can't go to ground over the winter, we just go and slaughter a family in a farmhouse and take it over for the winter and just eat all their stuff and their cats and dogs and just have a grand old time.
No, Winky, bad.
Elves have good ways of surviving the winter. I'll show you the elven way of doing this.
Winky bad.
I can show you how to create igloos. I'm sure actually elves are probably quite good at pulling up snow.
No, they have houses.
Yeah, they have houses.
They have houses. It's more of a psychological issue where they want to be underground, where it's dark and deep and warm.
You cover the house in snow. It'll be dark and deep, right? It'll be dark.
So if you want to take a personal hand in it,
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can treat your charisma as being one higher since you have had an active interest in the goblins and the greenskins.
All right. Watch this charisma roll fail.
Oh, look at that.
Actually, no, at one higher, it would be a crit.
It would be a crit. It would be a crit. You show them some of the basics, like you got to gather fallen wood so that you can keep your fires going. Yes, no, you build fires in these fireplaces. You see, you keep your fire contained so it doesn't burn down your house.
And you go and shit outside, even though it's cold.
Yeah. Honestly, what you're doing is you're just pacifying them. You're giving them some skills they didn't have. So actually, that helps. Helps the happiness factor with that.
We're civilizing them. They're going to be wearing hats and a monocle soon enough.
Gentrifying the goblins.
Yeah. Because you hired the dwarves, your building actions get finished, so you will have your keep and you will have your granaries at the end of the fall session. So everything actually is going really well for the first few months as we're going into winter here. Population isn't growing. You're not really doing anything to attract more population. They don't have enough storage or infrastructure to procreate and make more villagers yet. So that'll have to be something to work on. But it's an early winter. Logging still continues on such that it can. It's an early hard winter though. So there's not actually a lot of timber production going on, which drops your production because that's the only thing you've got going right now for production is timber. So that drops over the next season, the winter season that we're going to be going into. So you're looking at a shortfall in money. So this next season coming up, the winter season, you're going to have half. So 50,000 is all you're going to be able to pull up from your. Okay, this is not your money. This is what your timber is bringing in. Okay. And whatever else that you've got going on for trade. So half going into winter. Now, during winter, you guys have this keep built. It's built shortly before the winds and the cold really picks up. So it's got roaring fires. It's multi-level. You guys got bedrooms or offices, whatever you want to call them. This is your trade house. They don't make it look too imposing like it's a military structure, but it is made of stone. So going into this season, you have a visitor. Have you renamed your town, by the way, or city, whatever you want to call it? It's too small to be a city. Township.
No,
Hamlet.
I just couldn't remember the name, so we kept calling it Schtolteheim as a joke at this point.
Right, that's the name now. None of us can remember anything different, so that's the name of it. It's on the name above the keep. It's on the keep. Welcome to Stockholm.
No.
That's what it is now.
All right. It is a small caravan. It is 3 wagons, several horses, and it's one large family. of Derrakeen. They got trapped on this side of the mountains before they were expecting they had another full month to make it over, and they didn't quite. So they pull into your town just to see what they can arrange to go through the winter. Your keep is the only place of substance around, so you guys get to knock on the door. It's a caravan of Derrakeen out here.
How many?
They're coming back after doing a season's worth of trade, and they're trying to get across the pass, but it's at this point it's a hard winter. It's impassable. They can't. The Duke's Road is essentially closed down over the mountains. It's too treacherous. So they're looking for a place to stay during the winter.
Where would we be in your lands?
Yeah. Would you like to get in on the ground floor of my new subterranean access? You too can buy in on the monorail.
From memories, we actually get Derek King. Actually, we've been having fairly good relations with Derek King. I mean, admittedly, not every single Derek King is the same, but I think we've had pretty good relationships with Derek Kings.
Radnar will say that you're at the keep as well. Your wizard's mansion was ill prepared to weather through the winter, not having much in the way of stores, not really, no servant there to keep your fires going, nothing like that. So we'll say you're back at the keep at this point as well.
All right.
Okay. So the head of the family, Pietro, comes to the keep, hat in hand, asking if there's any way you can accommodate his family for the winter season until the roads open up and they can pass back into their homelands. They have nothing to trade, as they're just coming back from having traded out all of their supplies. They have a few things they're bringing back to their lands. Nothing you would be interested in, because these are products that come from your lands. They're willing to, if need be, rent or purchase a small dwelling to be able to stay. They're asking permission of the Lord of the land to be able to set up somewhere.
What do you guys think? I think it's fine. Let him sit here and just tell him, just remember where we are when you come through the trade. We're looking to grow. Well, let's wait for Jameis to get back. I think Jameis can hear us anyways, but...
From what I remember of other Derek King, listen, they're actually usually pretty good with the sort of like the celebrations and the drinking and the singing and everything. Given that, we could have them be the entertainment for the winter.
Yeah, people like to party at night here.
They do.
So,
and lots of fresh faces and fresh... I mean, if they're up for that sort of thing,
Yeah, that and just, I think we should just allow
I have
them
no problem
to
with them
keep.
being here. I have no problem whatsoever with them being here.
Let them stay in the
fine.
keep with us, and, we can just hang out, whatever, and then just tell them, hey, next time you come through in the trade route, we're here. We're growing. We got an outpost. We're
Scrimbleshanks, make me an intelligence check.
Oh no, these are horrible people who are coming to attack us.
Yeah, probably.
Instead.
They're going to come and kill us in our sleeps.
Well, I mean, they could just be political spies. But very low success, but a success nonetheless.
Yeah, you have a little bit of suspicion with her story simply because they had to cross. If they were heading back to Derrakeen, they were on the opposite bank of the river. Penhaligon is a much larger city. Why did they stop here? They had to cross the river to stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just something that's playing in the back of your head. It's not like they would have had to travel much further, another 16 miles. They could have made it to a much larger city.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know that we were a city, really, if the thing holds true.
No, the Pietro just basically we saw this keep. We figure the Lord of the Land lives here.
But I mean, to see it across the river and have to venture across.
Yeah, because we are not on the Duke's Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically not on the Duke's Road.
I mean,
Are
If
you
you
I'm going
stayed
to
on
use
the
the
Duke's
phrase
Road,
again.
much easier trade.
I'm going to use the
Anyway.
phrase I've already used. It looks like you are on the wrong side of the river.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that what you say?
yes. What are you doing here? Not that I'm suspicious or anything, because I've heard of several people using, things like this where they were actually assassins in disguise.
Oh, no,
Or
no, I assure you, while
spies or
assassination
anything.
can bring a fair amount of coin, that's not why my family chose to stop here. We were more than willing just to try to find a cave or an abandoned hunter's lodge for the winter. You see, we're
Are you
not
hunted in
welcomed.
Penhalgian? Yeah.
We're
sorry.
not welcomed in Penhalgian.
Was that?
Is that something that we would know? Is that a Derekine thing, or is it? Is it
No,
more?
Derekine they're pretty
They
much
are
accepted because
yeah.
they're traders and they bring lots of good,
Mm.
new and interesting
Mm.
things across the mountains. They're usually very wealthy traders.
Mhm.
They would typically be welcomed into a large city like Penhalgian.
Yeah, why would you not want to be in Penhalgian?
Oh, just misunderstanding with the law there. My family, well, it's my sons. You see, we can't go into Penhalgian, or they must spend some time in the stockades. No offense so great that they would lose their lives, but I'd rather my sons not weather this winter in a cell.
What was their crime? Allegedly.
I was
Of
gonna
a
ask what was
personal
their name.
nature. Yeah, he just kind of nods at you.
Wait, what did you say, Bill?
I was gonna ask what was her name.
Yeah, the father just kind of nods. He's got his hat in his hand, just nods at you and says, "Yeah, misunderstanding with a lady of nobility. My sons, impetuousness of youth." Wine was flowing. They had no idea a certain noble woman was married. Accusations were made. Well,
Was it worth it?
he kind of looks over at their two sons, and they just kind of give you a sheepish grin.
Yeah, that's great. Are they? I mean, what is it to see if they're like lying to me or not? About that.
You can make a wisdom check.
Oh, Galen.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know if their story is not so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 9 out of 12.
Nice.
There might be a little more to it, but he seems to be telling you the broad strokes of the truth. There might be a little bit more involved, but he's telling you the truth.
Have you broken any of the Duke's law? Is what it comes down
No.
to.
It was a
Okay.
it was a personal affront. Penhalgian's laws of nobility and the merchant class are not as egalitarian as my home country. You see, Penhalgian seems to put a finer amount of
the Duke's laws. Given that, if you don't mind, I'd just like to check over your cast just to make sure there's nothing untoward going on in there. Otherwise, you can stay here. Thank you.
Oh, certainly. As I said, we have no wares to sell. We've sold out for the season. We've just bringing back some of your furs, and you make some very good fine clothing here that we're bringing back. But certainly, you can examine our caravans to your heart's content.
Lies! Our clothing sucks.
Well, that depends. I mean, furs might be all the rage across the mountains.
I don't have a problem. Rednall, do you have a problem?
No.
Okay. Yeah, he shows you. I mean, they're basically bringing back furs, a bunch of pelts. There's some nice rugs that were made further south. Traditional Trolladaran kind of sheepskin rug sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, he shows you their coffer. I mean, they sold a lot. I mean, they've got a fair amount of wealth that he's a little hesitant to show you. But
The main thing I'm interested in is they're not trying to smuggle anyone else in the caravan, and that
anyone else.
be a person trying to
Well,
get
how thoroughly do
out.
you search? You just taking a quick
Well-
look, or are you like really rooting around in things?
Oh, enough of sort of like you lift up a few things and that to make sure there's no obvious hiding spots. If there's
Okay,
really good hiding spots, I'm not going to look. But if it's some obvious hiding spots, then I'll just
Okay.
check them out.
If you're looking for like, are they transporting people that they shouldn't have? You don't think you missed anything that would be people sized?
Okay.
Family is
If
pretty
they-
extensive. There's 12 of them all together.
Yeah. If they're trying to smuggle the crown jewel, I could not care less. Go for it. That I don't care about. If they're trying
We've
to
got this
smuggle some of
commode
my
seat that's
ladies,
monogrammed with King Stefan's name on it. I don't know how that got in there.
that's one of those things. We've got 10 of them.
I saw nothing.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure they're not trying to smuggle people through, but otherwise, I don't.
It's certainly
Valid.
not
Yeah.
people. They might
Okay.
be smuggling something, but not people.
Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah,
As long
that's
as
fine.
we don't have any evidence for under the Duke's law, and now that the fact they're just sort of being sort of hard asses, there's no real sort of reason under the Duke's law to go around checking every single caravan and every single person.
Yep.
So
Can I
unless
take
we
a
have
look
good,
at the-
unless we get Duke calls.
While we're
ahead.
looking through the stuff, and because I have travelled a lot to see things, can I see the things that they've got to sort of try and work out what route they've taken? Yeah, I'm just curious where they go and how often they visit these sort of places.
Sure, make me an intelligence check to get it spot on. You'll have a good idea, but just to get it spot on.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Nope. Oh, these are
Okay.
exotic. I've not seen these.
Actually, yeah, you recognize some of the crafts. In particular, are from the Hin, which would be to the south and west, is where the halfling, the Hin of the area. Hin craft is not really a commodity that most people spend any time with. They're fairly intricate, but they're not. It's not something like an aristocrat or noble would wear. It's more homespunny, but they seem to have a lot of crafts from the Hin. So they spent a lot of time in the Shires area, the 5 Shires.
Oh wow. Well, I spent some time there. I mean,
They got good
so
food.
I will talk to them about it and just make pleasant conversation about. Oh, I haven't been back in many a year. I've thoroughly documenting all these areas. Has anything changed there? Did you met Bill? You must have met Bill. Bill was there, right? No. No.
Hard to tell. You say you haven't been back in years.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. I'm not wondering.
Well, there's been some problems lately. Actually, it's why we were delayed. We actually meant to be well across the mountain pass by now. He doesn't seem to want to elaborate on it, just that we were delayed. There were some things going on there.
Please elaborate. I'm
It's-
always
I don't-
eager for. Well,
I
I'm not
don't-
always eager for news from home, but as soon as you've got it.
I don't want to
Gossip.
point fingers at the way that your provinces are ran and how good King Stefan runs things, but there are problems in the Shires. Many go missing, entire families. Talk of slavers in the area.
Has he
We dealt with
upgraded from
those.
Duke to King? I thought he was Duke
Oh, yeah,
Stefan.
that's
true.
Is he now?
No,
Is
he's
he
still
now
Duke.
King?
Not until after the wars that are upcoming does he take the name King.
Okay. I just wanted to
Duke
start talking
King.
about King Stefan. I was like, did we miss something?
I mean, didn't we do
Oh,
something
there's
with them? I can't remember.
We heard something about the Black Eagle iron ring thingy. I don't remember the word.
Yeah, the Black
they
Eagle
were involved
barony
with
is
them.
right
okay.
on the Shires.
Yeah, but we weren't
and again,
going
he
to
looks a little
investigate.
embarrassed when he's talking about that. I'm sure you've heard the rumors about the Duke's stepbrother and He's still disinclined to believe the rumors or launch any sort of investigation into it. So we spent some time there helping the families that we have done business with for many years, helping them to try and locate lost members and doing what we can. And it just slowed us down this year.
Okay. Well, thank you for helping out in places.
Did you hear anything specific about that could shed a little light on it?
He is looking really nervous when like he's kind of like clenching his hat that he's got in his hand. He's like, I your pardon. I don't mean to disregard this new friendship that we have growing here. It's just that I don't wish to speak ill of your rulers. And I don't know how political you are.
We are new to this area and are just trying to look out for the local people as of right now. Though our fealty is to the Duke, these allegations and rumors you speak of, we have heard about multitudes of times, and we have concern. And I mean, the less information that is spread about this, the less action can be taken. You understand?
Well, yeah, I do, but your Duke seems not to. He will hear no evil of his stepbrother, a man that he had campaigned in foreign lands with before coming here and taking up rulership. He has sent forces to deal with the slavers in very direct routes, but has spent no time or, in our estimation, thought as to how his stepbrother might be involved. It is entirely possible that his stepbrother is not involved, and it is hearsay, but he keeps odd company for a man whose hands are clean.
Yeah, just remind Bird that we asked Magpie to smuggle some people into there so we could get some on the ground and tell.
We did.
Don't know how well that worked, but we did ask.
Yeah, we haven't heard back yet, so.
They haven't come back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not news to us. We are aware of that.
He has taken into his confidence. He calls him an advisor or a scholar, but this man is known to us across your mountains. He has plagued our lands at one point or another. He's a mage of no small skill. I believe on this side of the mountains, he is called Bargle. He was seen with the Dukes. He was seen with the Dukes on a more than an occasion, and seems to have an official position within his court. And this alone would lead me to believe that he is not as clean as your Duke would have it seem. Or perhaps we are taking a wrong view of this. Perhaps he is ensorcelled. Perhaps he has been charmed by this mage. It wouldn't be the first time.
Do I know anything about Bartle?
Bargle,
yes.
If you've been around D&D long enough, you know that Bargle's an evil man who killed your first cleric love.
Damn it, Jim.
No, you might have. It's possible. Make an intelligence check if you're really good on it.
That I can do, yes.
Low check. It only comes up because you had on one drunken night while studying, and since you have studied, you studied in the what's it called? The province of mages. That's where you actually spent some time studying. He's actually forbidden to enter the College of Magics or even the territory there. Like his name is like one of those that was struck from the rolls. He was a student there. He was a teacher there at one point. But he is persona non grata.
So he's like Voldemort.
You don't actually know what his crime was. He's just stricken from the history books as far as what positions he's held. And yeah, he's basically a wanted criminal in those lands, but only in those lands, as far as you know. But has had to be a very powerful wizard.
Okay.
Would I mean, like, I evidently I don't know this guy real well. I just know of him. Would I have any idea where he stood in power in relation to, like, me?
Oh, he's yeah. He would school you so hard. Very, very powerful. At least, I mean, he was. I mean, you don't know the full story. I mean, he was stripped of some of his power before he was thrown out, but they couldn't kill him, though they obviously wanted to. So hard to tell.
Okay.
Okay,
I'd give you more, but that was a really low success. Low success.
Right. No, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with them staying here for the winter.
Okay.
Just remember
Yeah.
us. We're cool people, I promise.
Actually, we might
They'll ask
also
around,
ask.
and they'll find a couple of houses that nobody or families died and no one's claimed. They'll find a couple of houses and spend some time repairing it a little bit, and they'll move in for the winter.
Since they are here, we may as well ask them about the idea of drilling a hole through the mountain. What would be on the other side to get their view of it? Because why not?
Oh.
It's going to happen.
Okay. Well, then they do give you a little bit of lore, and they preface it with, these are stories. Whether or not they're true, they can't say. But verbal stories handed down father to son over many generations of the Darakeen. One of the Darakeen proverbs is, do not delve, do not dig. They have serious cultural, not sure how you would put it, taboos against mining in the mountains or digging in the mountains. Going way back. There are things in the mountains best left asleep. That's what the tales say. Now he tells you, no one, since it's been a cultural thing, people haven't done it. We don't mine those mountains. We don't dig in those mountains. We don't use passages in those mountains for generations. So maybe something bad happened to one family and it just spread, and it was a one-time thing. We don't know for sure, but we have these oral traditions that you don't delve in mountains. If you have a choice between a high mountain pass or a cave, you always take the pass. You never go into the caves.
All right, well, that settles it. We're leveling the mountain. No cave, just level it. Got it.
Level the whole damn thing. Let all the sunlight in.
Listen, anything there will drown in mud when we're through with it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll spend some time. Actually, we'll say that the one inn that you still have here, the drinking establishment that people go to in the evenings and then late at night for the second part, he will spend an evening telling you the stories that he can remember that have been passed down about. It's not even that it's an evil. It's that it's, as far as you can tell, the stories talk about there's a race that live and potentially still live in those mountains, in the dark places in those mountains. They don't like to be disturbed.
Yeah.
So bring plenty of light.
Let the tentacles out. They just want to hug your face.
Tales say that to see one causes luck and misfortune. Your business ventures will always come to ruin. The stories don't say really much about them being evil or attacking, just that it's bad luck to a bloodline to have caught sight of or disturbed whoever is living in those mountains.
Oh, man.
You're just trying to tempt us to go there, aren't you? You're just deliberately saying, "Go attack this place."
I really want to capture one, miniaturize one, put it in a bottle, and then just leave it around places. Exactly. Yeah.
Suddenly,
Ruin
all the
economies
establishments
just
start
by
going
showing
out of
up.
business, and
Yeah. You're right.
You do have that prepped and ready for when we do this.
Mm.
all right, yes,
We can sacrifice a couple of hexes. That's fine. 2 and 3, no one needs them anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. So you do spend an evening with them telling tales. They do have a few instruments, but that's not really what they do. You're actually thinking of the Vistani from the Ravenloft. These guys are not like at all like that. They're very mercantile minded, very orderly people.
We have travelled with the mercantile before. They've had a lot of good drink, a lot of good wine.
Yep.
But yeah, I might be thinking of others in terms of stereotypes of
But yeah, the Derekine tend not to drink to excess because it makes business dealings more difficult, and it's all about business. It's all about the
Sure, we've
mercantilism.
gone up the Duke's Road with Derekine before, and they've been like, "Yeah, let's have a drink. Let's have another one."
Well, you did meet that one gangster, Derekine, that wore the jumpsuit and the gold chains. Or he might as well have. Ivan.
I have one thing to do here that I think might possibly help alleviate things, maybe with Penhalgian, if we ever comes down to it, and it is exposed. The house that these people are staying in,
Yep.
I label it the Stocks. And then if it ever comes out that we were helping these people, we can say, yeah, they were kept in the stocks while they were here. No, it's
Not a bad
not a
idea.
lie. It's not a mistruth exactly, but just in case.
We
it
heard they
somehow
were
comes out,
criminals. We kept them in the stocks.
Exactly. Yeah, just in
No.
case.
No.
I don't know.
Sure.
Well, there we go. I'm satisfied.
Mhm.
Even if nobody
Scribble
else is.
Shanks is a burgeoning politician right there.
Well, it's all about words and how you tell them and the expressions of the things. I mean, it's sort of what I do.
Better watch out, Schtolteheim. He's going to wage a coup, and he will be the new Duke of the area. That's or Baron.
I don't want to be the
Barony.
Duke of this area. Notice how I didn't say ruler and just Duke.
Yes. So you have a family, a large family of Derekine that will be wintering over with you as well. Again, they took 2 houses that they made sure that nobody was claiming, fixed them up.
Yeah.
So they'll leave it better than how they found it. They are appreciative. Again, they don't have much to weigh in the way to offer as they sold everything that they had, but they'll make themselves as useful around as they can.
Make sure you just tell your friends about us when you get home safely.
Dig it. No.
Okay. The winter is very bad this year. It gets very cold. There's a lot of snowfall. Pretty much renders everyone having to stay in home most of the time. Luckily, folks are used to this in this area. This is worse than any can remember in a generation or two, but they have stocked away firewood so the fireplaces can keep going. Particularly cold night. Full moon. You guys in the keep are brought aware that something is going on in the town as fires are being lit. Houses are burning.
Ew.
Oh,
With people in them?
Well, I
Oh.
mean,
Some
they
of
were
that.
houses that people were staying in. Yes.
Oh no. That's...
Dan, if only
okay.
we'd set up some sort of fire brigade.
Let's
Okay.
go and
Let's say everyone's staying at the
thing.
keep at this point. So you are individually woken as you're hearing people yelling fire, taking a look
Randall wakes
outside.
up and throws a fireball because that's what he does.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Hmm.
The cries of fire, though, you're hearing one or two people and then silence. Like the cries are being cut off very quickly.
Oh,
bandits.
boy. Yep, let's go see what's going
Bandits.
on.
Okay. Schtolteheim, you look out one of your windows,
Mm.
cold air, full moon in the night, and you see there's a fair number of your villagers just standing around one of these houses that are burning and blazing on fire, and they're just kind of surrounding the house. You're not exactly sure what they're doing. They're not trying to put the fire out. And you take a really good look. You kind of rub your eyes. It's not very close to the keep. They're all seeming to wear like really old clothing, and some of them are not wearing shoes. Some of them are not wearing pants.
I'm
The
beginning to.
hell? Rally the party and
Yeah, their
guys, let's go
skins look
check this
really
out.
like blue.
Their skin looks blue.
Yeah, like you would get from like a frozen corpse, kind of just really odd looking. They're all kind of walking in this kind of shambling kind of gait too, as they kind
Oh,
of
fuck
circle this
me.
burning house.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? We have zombies coming. Guys, we have to get out. Where's Radnar? Galen, we
Now
need...
we're done with this kingdom. It's got zombies. Time to move on.
Wait! I'm a cleric! I run out there! I'm running. I'm
How
going.
many
Right,
can you
get out
control at once?
Yeah, you get closer as you stamp out into the cold night. You're sinking down to knee level in the snow. Yes, it's a bunch of corpses that have crawled their way out of tombs. They're
Tombs.
they're wearing very old, just desiccated furs. Some of them are wearing old iron armor.
Let's kill them again.
And they seem to be attracted to the heat of the fire.
Okay. I'm going to produce my holy symbol on my blade because it's a full moon. So I draw my blade and I procure it and I go, I've never done this before. Oh, great lady, make these do my bidding.
Do my bidding. All right.
Because I have
so
command
that's a
undead. I don't
clerical.
have turn.
Yeah. So you're third level now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
1 and 2 star need to roll, 3
Yeah.
and 4 need to roll.
Roll
5 different-
2d6.
2d6.
Roll 2d6.
All right. Boop. That's 7.
A 7.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 with only levels that you can affect.
Okay. Some of them, fresher looking corpses, the ones that look more modern clothing and armor, turn and kind of approach you slowly. They kind of kneel. You've got let's see, how many can you do? I think it's a
2d6.
2d6. Yeah, roll
2d6 with that dice. Yeah, 2d6
2 more
with that dice.
d6.
Yep. That's how many that you can command.
9.
9.
9 of them turn and like kind of they kneel at you. The older ones, though, the ones that are like wearing like very thick old iron armor, and they have huge iron and stone hammers and clubs, they are unaffected. They continue to stare at the blazing house. You see around you, if you look out, several more houses are on fire, and this is the scene is repeated. This ring of these undead.
Fuck. What the fuck is happening? I'm gonna.
Your populace has ran into the woodland, getting away from
Yeah.
the burning houses.
I can't communicate with undead, right?
You can give them orders, but
Okay, but they can't. Okay. Go put out the flames.
okay. They start walking to the house, and they just kind of smear their bodies on the fire, trying to put the fire out with their bodies.
Oh God! I'm like, what do I do? I'm just like,
What are the
there's
rest of you doing?
dead everywhere.
How much are us awake and aware of what's going on is the question.
Oh, you're all awake. You're probably putting on clothing before going out in that very cold, cold night.
I'm just in like a robe and bunny slippers.
Now, the ones that you are not able to command, they don't seem to care that you're there. They just seem to be enthralled with this house burning to the ground.
What the fuck? I'm gonna look around and see if I see anything that's like not staring at the fire or panicking and running away.
You look around with a line of these corpses coming up, and they surround a house. And they seem to be just staring at the house. And then the house bursts on fire. It actually bursts. It's like the inside of the house erupts in like this, like almost like a bird of fire. And just the roof catches fire and it starts burning. And then they surround it and they start getting closer to it, just enthralled by the fire.
What the fuck is happening?
As soon as I get in range, and I see what's going on, I'm going to be turning undead, but I don't know when that is.
I tell them
Yeah.
they just surround the house and it blew up, but they're not doing anything. They're not attacking me.
Okay.
Do we know who was in the house?
When you present your holy symbol and you start turning, we think it's expected results. The fresher corpses just kind of explode. Some of the older ones start shambling away. But there are some that are completely unaffected that just continue to stare at the house as it starts to burn to the ground. They don't care that you're there, and they don't seem to care that you're destroying and turning the rest of them.
They're higher than
So I'm
9th
gonna
level because I need to roll for 7 to 9, but I can affect everything.
You're watching them, and as the building just burns to the ground, the ones that you're just having no effect on, kind of in a line, go to another house. There's not as many of them now, but they surround the house.
I was
House
going to try
catches
something
fire.
after
Yeah,
that
go
as
ahead.
well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing as they seem to be staring and following the fire, I was going to light some torches and hold 2 or 3 torches and see if I could distract them away to follow.
Yes. Some of these older ones, again, that are wearing like these ancient iron breastplates and they have these huge hammers. You light some really thick torches. It takes several of them to catch their attention. But when you do, they start following you. They're not moving fast, but they follow if you get too far ahead, they'll lose interest and they go and try and find a house to surround. But if you kite them,
back
you
and
get close to them. Yeah. So
Where
you
am I
can
leading
lead them
them
wherever
to?
you want to, and you get a better look at these that are older. And Jameis Galen can probably notice this too when you're questioning why aren't these other ones? Why am I not affecting them? You don't think that they're undead.
Yeah.
They look more like they're made of like a coating of like thick ice. Like you can see there's like a skeleton under there. But the skeleton's like coated and covered in this like thick ice. Looks very human-like.
Some kind of golem construction? Rednor, where's your damn fireballs?
That's what I was actually going to suggest. That is like if there was a place out, if there was like a big area where nothing was in, I could set off a
Yeah.
fireball and see if they, go hang out
I mean,
there.
I can lead them over to a place and you
Yeah.
can eyeball them all.
The Scrimbleshanks
Oh, yeah,
kite
that-
them.
That's perfect. Radnar, if you let off a fireball, the magical fire draws all of them. And then they all kind of make a line. The ones that aren't destroyed or turned by Galen, the ones that Schtolteheim is not controlling,
Okay.
they all surround this conflagration that you create.
Okay.
The magical fire starts to melt this kind of like icy skin that they have. And then as that's starting to melt, the skeletons start falling out of them. And when they do, they're inert. One of them looks over at Scrimbleshanks, kind of mouths something, at least tries to, as it starts to melt and the
Lips,
skeleton
so it's-
fall out.
That's not creepy at all.
Is it thank you?
Do you speak Trolladarin?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure. Yes, that's on my list. There we go.
All right.
No, it says peace.
It says peace.
Yeah.
All right.
The word has connotations in Trolladarin that are more like it means like an end to strife as opposed to I'm peaceful. It means like to bring an end to war.
Okay. Huh. Well, I mean, I will inform everybody else.
So it's like we put them to peace.
Possibly,
Yeah.
it might mean that there is more to come, and that we need to bring a peace to the end of it. It's an odd language.
Okay.
First
So
things
your
first,
magical
let's try
fire
and-
is attracting more and more and more of them.
From where?
Some of them are proper undead. Some of them are these other cold beings.
What the fuck? Keep kiting them, Scrimbleshanks.
Galen, under the light of this full moon, you can kind of see a line of them stretching across the land, heading towards the direction of where Mel's hole is.
Oh no.
Put him down the hole. Hell yeah.
Oh no.
Do you think I could just kite them around in a giant circle back down to the hole?
Hell yeah, I can set off a fireball right at the edge of the hole.
Well, if you go to the other side and they're like on the other side of the hole, will they walk around or just fall into the hole?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you guys want to go out to the hole to find out?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to be
them in a
leaving a lot
direction.
of these things
Direction.
back here to continue to burn
That's the
houses.
problem.
I mean, your magical fire will last a while, but they'll likely go back to
Um,
burning houses once it's gone.
Is there anyone still around that we can get to help?
Help to what? Yes, there are people around.
We could
Give
do a
them
line of
torches and have them
torches.
kite them.
We could do a line of torches, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Couldn't we just plot them
Okay.
along so that
So
they
you
could
want to
follow
get
the
them all kind of turn back around to go back to the hole.
I mean, I don't know where else to take them.
Yeah, take them
Might
back
as
to the
well.
hole. They're coming
There's
out of the
everything else
hole?
down there, right?
Yeah.
Do you take them back to the hole then?
Yeah.
Schtolteheim, I
Yes.
yes, to answer your question, so you bring them back to where Galen remembers the hole being, and you guys are seeing this. There are zombie cows, all mutilated, little pigs. There's skeletons. It's just a swarm, like vomiting forth from this hole. If you get close enough to the hole's edge to look in, they've pilloried. They're climbing up one another to come out of this hole.
Okay. Well, for a start off, blast some of the lower level ones with fireballs to sort of get rid of them. But what I want to do, and this is going to take a while, so bless the area.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's all. I can't do high level powerful stuff, but Blisteria is the best I've got right this moment.
Okay. Assuming people are staying around with torches just to kind of lead them away so that Galen has some room to breathe, what are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm helping with the torches with the townspeople. I'm standing with my
Okay.
people during this and just like reassuring them, like they won't attack. They just follow the flame, guide them, like this, like, oh here boy, here boy. Yep, follow this. Yep.
Okay. Radnar?
What if I just set like a bunch of fireballs down the hole? Would that stop them?
Okay, you send a bunch of fireballs down the hole.
I mean,
Yeah,
a
they
bunch.
stop climbing.
I can do 7.
They stop climbing one another. And the thing is you throw those fireballs down, eventually you never see like an explosion or anything like it's hit the end of it at
Oof.
all. But they do stop climbing over one another. And then eventually that little pile of ice creatures and undead just kind of starts going back down into the hole.
Okay.
Okay, and I want everybody to make me a D6 roll.
D6.
2.
2.
5, 2, 4, 2.
Okay. Skirmishing is not human, so a 2. You're the only one that notices. Seemingly watching your handiwork off a little bit. Somebody's in the shadows, dark cloak, long silver hair, seems to be observing what you're doing. And then it seems to notice that you see the person there. And it just kind of steps to the side, like it's stepping through a doorway. And then the figure's gone. You're not exactly sure you saw it. Could be a trick of the light.
Have to teleported far because you can't teleport far at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
No, that
The
doesn't-
dimension
that
door
doesn't help
works
any-
okay.
Yeah, dimension door's fine, so you have no idea. If that's what
So
they do.
Scrimbleshanks is the only one who saw the figure, though, that was just kind of watching what was going on.
Yeah, Galen's a bit busy trying to bless the area. So that's fair that Galen didn't spot it.
Well, I will be mentioning this to everybody when we're done with all of this, but for right now, if they've stepped away, and I can't see them anywhere else, I look around just to double check they're not, behind me now, or something.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So, Galen, this does take a while for you to finish the blessing, but make me a save versus magic.
Woo! Come on, fail. 50-50 says failure. Woo, fail. I don't know what that does, and I can't reverse it because I'll be out of bits.
Nope,
So.
that's fine. So you continue, bless the area. Scrimbleshanks, do you want to go look for the person or tell anyone else about it?
Well, if we're still dealing with all of this stuff going on, then...
Well, no more zombies are coming out of the pit anymore after the fireballs went down.
then,
so you're just dealing with what's up here.
Then yes, I mean, if we have lots of other people here who are helping as well, and I can just like pass off my torches to someone so that they can, I don't know, land them like an airplane sort of thing. Then yeah, I will go and find the others and say, hey, look, I saw a person. They were observing us. I noticed them. They noticed that I noticed them, and then I noticed that they noticed that I noticed them, and then they disappeared. Like that stepping out of reality dimension door thing. I don't know where they are. We can search for them, or we could just let them get away with it.
Does introvision be completely negated by moonlight?
I mean, can you
What?
see these people? can you see these zombies who are cold? Does that work? I
Well,
mean,
no, I'm
it
just
could
thinking
be another person.
if there's mysterious figures and shadows kind of go, oh look, there's a heat blob over there. There's not.
Right, but
Well,
I'm
you're
wondering
too
if that
involved.
person is
Keep
also
going. Yeah.
also cold. Oh, but if you're, I'm not talking to you apparently.
Yeah, I'm busy.
All right, well, I'm telling everybody I can. So you know.
And it seems like they're ignoring you.
Ah, yes, all right.
They're all busy.
Dion, Bill, that's you.
I'm sorry, one more time. I'm like lost in thought with this.
Yeah.
It's so much. One more
All right.
time.
I saw a person. They dimension
Uh-huh.
doored or something away, but I don't know. They might still be around here,
Okay.
seeing as we can't teleport far.
Okay.
And I don't know whether they were just observing what was going on, or whether they were causing it, or what have you. But thing,
Obviously, some kind of mage that wants to mess with us.
maybe.
All right. So, do we have a way to seal this hole? First off, because we don't need this happening again.
I'm trying.
No. You're
People have
blessing
been
it,
trying
right?
to fill this hole for generations, and still no one's found the bottom.
I'm trying to spiritually put a lid on it with the bliss spell.
Can I still do my magical sight?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll turn that on and see if
spirits
I
can
can
do
spot
that as well as
anything.
mages.
Well,
But
you
that's
see,
it.
there's some magic around the pit, but more
Mhm.
importantly, there's a big disturbance of magic just over there, just under those trees and over those small hills, kind of in the direction that Scrimbleshank saw the form.
Right? A big one, though, you said,
Make me an
right?
intelligence check.
Yeah. Please. 8 out of 17.
Success. The magic is definitely necromantic. It's keyed into the same kind of negative plane that you're now linked to yourself.
Right. I'm gonna head over there. I'm gonna walk over.
Okay.
Make my way over.
Anyone
Run.
else?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go with them.
I mean, I
Okay.
was the one who pointed it out, so yeah, I'm still around there.
All right. So it's a small area of trees and kind of low, broken bits of rock that are poking through. And you would have completely missed it. Matter of fact, you did miss it the last time you were down here because it was so overgrown. It's a graveyard. There are stones, markers in place. You see it now because the grass and the snow has all been stripped away. And one particular grave has been unearthed. And the grave looks very odd. It has like a head marker. It's a stone, but the script on it has been worn smooth over time. But what's interesting is that there's like a cage of like old kind of rusty iron that was laid over the top of it, like bands of iron that was laid over the top of, like, you can kind of imagine where the person would be buried. And kind of like a rib cage of a human, a cadaver that's being investigated. Those iron bars have been pulled and snapped apart, and the grave has been unearthed.
So somebody went digging in the grave, possibly, and looked around for this, and unfortunately opened a magical Faraday cage. Something like that.
Could not have been, couldn't have been that long ago because the snow hasn't had time to recollect in the spot. So
somebody did that.
Several hours, maybe recent. And we're at time, so we'll leave it there with this question of what's going on in your province and what's coming out of Mel's hole. Yes. So we'll leave it there. Richard, what you got going on?
Hi there, I am Richard, and I play video games badly here on Twitch at LMTDTMFFR, or say it with me now.
Limited time
off.
Limited time offer. No vowels.
As well.
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
You running anything tonight?
Yes, I will be doing something. Probably an hour from now, I would guess. Give myself some time to do that. I'll be looking at the exciting new game that came out yesterday, the Marvel's Midnight Suns. Midnight Somewhere.
I will check it out. Jameis, you got a blog. What's going on that blog?
Got a blog. Not much happened recently because I haven't seen anything. But I have had lots of meetings at work, so that's something.
No. You blog about it, do you?
No, I don't do anything because I've been doing all meetings at work and done anything else.
All right. Dion, what do you got going on?
Well, when I'm not playing TTRPGs with all my super cool awesome friends like you guys, you can find me on my channel at Substances Used, where I play retro JRPG games and do a lot of GTA 5 roleplay. We finished the Breath of Fire series, the 4th one, and we're playing Legend of Mana right now on the weekends. This weekend I'm going to be a little busy with some Adonia events, so I don't think I'm going to get some retro in, but a lot of stuff's happening in some GTA 5 RP in the month of December, and I might be hosting a couple of events, so keep an eye out for the streams.
Cool. And Bill, what do you got going on?
Well, still running my Lost City Baracus. We're up to session number 40, and the party has gotten a lot of wealth lately. They can thank Bill Webb for that. I'm also running my West Marches style Dwaro Deep game. If you're interested in playing in that, get in touch and we'll get you in the game. That's about it.
Cool. And if you found us, you know where we are, twitch.tv/Steam Steel Murder. Check out the podcast at Blue Magic, BLUMAGIK.com for many, many, many years worth of role-playing goodness. But also right now, check out a Kickstarter I got going on. I had a lot to do with this project, Dicey Tales version 2. It'll be running through most of the month of December. We're funded, but we're trying to make some stretch goals now as well. So if you like pulp in your role-playing, do check it out. But that's all I got. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.